this whole thing of being loyal to your spouse, that I'm a married woman, I should be having that sort of a loyalty, and especially about the sexual energy, the whole issue of sexual loyalty. Then how can I feel sexual for somebody else who is not my husband? And I was full of guilt. I was full of shame for even feeling that sort of a sexual energy for many, many different type of reasons. And in this video, I'm definitely going to be very honest, even though it sounds a little crazy because most of us don't prefer to talk about these things in the open. But I feel that as a divine feminine who is doing this work for so many feminines in this journey, it truly comes to my heart that I need to be as honest as possible to everybody when it comes to all this inner emotional turmoil that I have gone through. So, coping up with my day to day life, being a mother of a child, being a wife of somebody, coming from a humble, integrated family, identifying with these very heavy, intense sexual emotions and feelings was not at all easy for me. Twin flame connection is something that does something to your body that no other connection does. It wakes up your desire, not just emotional longing, not just missing somebody, but something physical, something energetic, something that is a wanting at a cellular level. And for the most women who are on this journey, it is deeply confusing. Maybe you are committed to somebody else, maybe you are in a marriage or you are in a relationship, and this magnetic pull, the sexual pull towards your twin flame exists irrespective of whatever juncture you are standing in your life. Whether you act upon it or not, you cannot explain it, you cannot make it stop, and you cannot talk about it to anybody else. And hence, even when the twin flame energy is present, even when the magnetic pull is absolutely at the top, you start shutting it down. Your shame steps in, your guilt steps in. Your body wants to open, but something inside you slams the door. Or maybe you just don't understand where any of this is coming from and where is it going. Is it spiritual? Is it some sort of a desire or a lust? Is it a past life? Is it even real? And you haven't been able to find out any sort of a framework for this. And the hardest part, you are carrying all of it completely alone inside of you. You cannot tell your husband, you cannot tell your parents, you cannot tell it to your friends, you cannot post about it. So you sit with it in silence. And obviously, you wonder, is something wrong with me? There is nothing that is wrong with you. And that is what we are going to discuss in this video. So I'm going to divide this video into 4 parts. First is what is it that you're experiencing in your twin flame journey when it comes to your sexual energy and the desire. Second part is what is exactly happening energetically or spiritually when you are feeling or experiencing this energy. The third part is what is making you get confused or feeling stuck, especially when it comes to navigating the sexual feelings. And the fourth part is what is it that you truly need to understand when it comes to navigating through the sexual energy. So please make sure that you stick to this video till the end. So when I went through this specific experience, especially after I was married to my husband and the soul twin flame energy started coming back again into my life, and I started feeling this magnetic pull and this over the roof sexual energy in my life towards my twin flame. And I was full of guilt. I was full of shame for even feeling that sort of a sexual energy for many, many different type of reasons. The first and foremost challenge was this whole thing of being loyal to your spouse, that I'm a married woman, I should be having that sort of a loyalty, and especially about the sexual energy, the whole issue of sexual loyalty. Then how can I feel sexual for somebody else who is not my husband? It feels like an extramarital affair or some attraction that is a complete taboo in the society. I'm not supposed to feel this. And if I'm feeling, that means I'm doing something immoral. I'm not doing something that is accepted by the society. It is some sort of a wrongdoing. So I started looking at myself from those filters, from that sort of a judgment that I'm not going on a right track. I'm probably slipping away from my own character or the integrity. Maybe I'm giving too much of importance to my desires that are there inside me sexually, which probably I was not even aware of before. And in this video, I'm definitely going to be very honest, even though it sounds a little crazy because most of us don't prefer to talk about these things in the open. But I feel that as a divine feminine who is doing this work for so many feminines in this journey, it truly comes to my heart that I need to be as honest as possible to everybody when it comes to all this inner emotional turmoil that I have gone through. So when this whole sexual energy started coming back in my life in the second phase of my journey, that sexual energy was so high in my life that I even started having this fantasy in my mind that I don't even mind being a mistress for my twin flame. It doesn't matter because he's married, I am married, but I truly want to be sexually intimate with him. I had no clue from where this is coming from. I have never been that sort of a person who is indulging into any sort of a sexual act, dating different multiple people, or exploring that side of me in any way, or I'm having that sort of a heightened desire to have sexual intimacy with a man. No, I was not that sort of a person. But when that whole sexual energy started getting activated, I did not understand how to navigate with that sort of a energy. Initially, I tried to run pretty hard with that energy. I started judging myself. I started framing myself into my own mind. I was not liking my own character. I was thinking that I am slipping away from my own truthful self. I'm losing my integrity because there is something that is really come over me in a very awful way. I really did not like that part. At the same time, there was so much of magnetic pull towards that energy, which I couldn't deny. So, coping up with my day to day life, being a mother of a child, being a wife of somebody, coming from a humble, integrated family, identifying with these very heavy, intense sexual emotions and feelings was not at all easy for me. And because of these challenges, I tried to run away from that energy of my twin flame for months. Even though I felt it, I always felt that this is some sort of a forbidden fruit, that I want to have the fruit, but I cannot have it. It is a very strange and very helpless and very sad position. The God has really played this very cruel joke on me, and I have to cope up with it this way. So I try to shun away from that whole magnetic pull or the intense sexual energy that I started feeling completely. And it literally put me in pain, it put me in confusion, and I completely started shutting down in every way. It was not just the sexual energy, but otherwise also other parts of my life. I was shutting down as a protection mechanism or the natural response to that magnetic energy. The sad part was I was completely alone. I didn't even know that I am on a twin flame journey. This is something that is called a twin flame connection. I was still considering myself that I was being obsessed with somebody from my past who I loved the most, and that energy was again coming back. I didn't know why that energy is coming back. There was nobody to guide me. There was nothing. There was no information about this type of a thing at that time when I started experiencing this. I'm talking about 2008, 2009. I think whatever I'm describing as my experience, I'm sure that many of you, or most of you, or all of you, have gone through this exact experience when the sexual energy hit you after your twin flame encounter and everything started collapsing inside you as well as outside of you. However, after this struggling period, when I awakened, I started recognizing certain patterns. And when I started looking back and started connecting the dots, I had a very profound, solid understanding of what was happening. And I think sharing that understanding can really put many things for most of you in place. Welcome back to my channel Awaken with Pradnya. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification icon. All those who want to have one-to-one sessions with me, who are feeling confused or stuck in their twin flame journey and want to have some sort of a solace, direction, or upliftment when it comes to navigating your journey, please feel free to visit my website and book a private one-to-one session for yourself. I have shared more than 5,000 answers when it comes to the twin flame experience on the website called Quora. Anybody who wants to visit my Quora profile or Instagram or my website, all those links are given in the description. Spiritually speaking, if I want to dissect this whole scenario in a spiritual way or in an energetic way, this was the time when my Kundalini was again reignited. It was the second phase of my journey, and my aggressive awakening started from this time onwards, 2008 onwards. So, what I typically understand is that when your Kundalini is activated, it will hit your sacral chakra. So far, I was awakening in my journey, but my aggressive Kundalini awakening had not taken place. So the first thing it did was it hit my sacral chakra. It started arising, and the first chakra, the first juncture or the destination it had to hit was the sacral chakra. So when the sacral chakra was hit, It was shaken, it basically got opened, it got activated. Most of you may be already knowing that the sacral chakra in the Kundalini system is the sexual energy center or the creative energy center. That is the sacred creative force that creates the universe. So it is sexual in nature. So when sacral chakra gets activated, you will start feeling that immense amount of sexual energy being activated in your energy body. And that is what happened. And that is why I started feeling so much sexual energy inside myself, which also was connected to my twin flame because he was the activator of this whole Kundalini activation in my energy body. And when any chakra in your Kundalini gets activated, what happens? It will start purging anything and everything that doesn't serve you. So, the most important factor everybody needs to understand here, spiritually or energetically, is that most of us have had thousands of past lives. As a soul, we have been on a long soul journey and we have had so many different types of lives. We have gone through a lot of positive and negative experiences, especially when it comes to sexual experiences. As a female or a male, you have gone through so many things that were probably negative in nature in terms of sexual abuse, sexual conditioning, social conditioning, the kind of negative experiences that you had to go through. I can give an example of one of my past lives. In one of my past lives, I was a very learned woman who was a very wise woman, but it was such a patriarchy based society that when the government or whoever the king of that place was, when he came to know that I am a very wise woman and I know a certain skills when it comes to some spiritual knowledge, me along with some other women, we were burnt alive because they could not allow that. And there was some sort of a sexual abuse before that burning alive kind of a scenario. Now you can understand that we are right now not even able to pinpoint how much we must have gone through in our past lives. But on our subconscious level, everything is stored even when we are consciously not aware about it. So most of us have gone through things which may be unimaginable, but all those are carrying those imprints in this current life as well. And as your twin flame is activating you, activating your kundalini, and when your sacral chakra starts purging, most of your belief systems or conditioning or things that are blocking your free flowing sexual center, anything that blocks it is going to purge. So most of the things will start coming to your awareness and you would start purging those things. But for that to happen, you would first start feeling the sexual energy and anything and everything that is going to limit you when it comes to embracing your own sexual energy and sexual self is going to challenge you. And I think the first thing that happens in this experience is your twin flame coming and activating your energy body and your sacral chakra being open and activated. So, if at all you are questioning this particular thing, that why is the sexual energy activated? Am I the one who is becoming lusty or wanting to go out of my integrity or loyalty to look for somebody to desire that person? No, it's not like that. It is just that your sacral chakra has activated, and because of that, all your belief systems that is related to your sexual energy that you have lived so far is going to get purged. So I hope all of you are understanding up till here. Now, the third part, what are the belief systems that are making you stuck in this particular scenario? Because as we say that your twin flame is a facilitator of your spiritual journey and the progress, and as they are activating your sacral chakra, most of the things that are holding you into the density in the lower vibration, your twin flame will challenge those. So your twin flame holds that amazing divine magnetic sexual energy. You are pulled towards that sexual energy. But there are certain things that you are still holding in your density energy which make you stuck. You are not able to accept that sexual energy wholeheartedly by opening yourself up, right? You are constantly getting into a judgment and self blame and the whole societal right wrong sort of a conflict. However, your twin flame, being a facilitator of your spiritual transformation, is always going to invite you to open yourself fully into your sacral chakra energy center. And then there are things that are keeping you stuck. So, what are those things? First and foremost, absolute core block in most of the females is that we are not allowed to believe that our sexuality is owned by us. Because since many ages in our societies, women have been character assassinated for feeling their sexuality or coming openly with their sexual desires. And most of the things are normalized in the society. For example, in certain cultures, women wear the black clothes to close their face. Or in Indian culture, we are having this whole culture of pallu or a dupatta to cover your breast area. Things like that. Now it looks like a culture that, oh, we have such a beautiful culture. But if you truly go into the roots, many societies hold this culture where they want women to cover themselves up for a completely different reason. It's basically coming from this thought system of a woman needs to be covered up. It's coming from sexualizing of a woman in a most patriarchal ways. So women have also adapted that and men also have adapted that. So these days it is normalized in such a way that we are not even feeling that it needs to be questioned, especially when it comes to countries like India, where there are a lot of ancient sculptures available to see what sort of civilization we had in the most ancient times. You would see all these principles of a woman covering up her body were not existing. All these thought processes and narratives started developing way much later. Also, in most of the cultures, women have been put under this belief system that desiring a man is exactly opposite to having a good character. So, if you are expressing your love or a desire for a man, it is out of the integrity of a woman. It directly is equivalent to her character. So, if a woman expresses her desire or a love to a stranger or a man or whoever she is falling in love with or desiring, the patriarchal structure, her father or her brother or somebody as a male figure will decide what she needs to do. The decision of her life or even the choice of her life partner is not given to the woman herself, but some sort of a male figure in her family is going to decide what she needs to choose and what is right for her. Again, I'm giving the example of India, but I'm sure that in other cultures also it might be a similar scenario where the women used to choose their own grooms for themselves and nobody would interfere in that process. If the woman is choosing the man, they will let her choose the man of her choice. But in the later period, we cannot see that happening. Even in today's date, there are countries where the parents of the woman are deciding who she needs to get married. If a woman chooses her sexual partner, there are a lot of implications in the society which she will have to bear through, including the harassment, boycott, judgment, punishment. And as a result of all these things, eventually a woman stopped paying attention to her sexual desires. She started covering herself up. Most of us, even though we call ourselves as women of today's world or the modern world, whatever you want to call it, ultimately, when it comes to the sexual side of us, most of the women have shut down that side of themselves. If there is a chance for them to stand for themselves completely in their own power, holding all their sexual desires, fantasies, as a true sexual being, that I'm a woman, I stand in my integrity, including my sexual side. I'm sure that 95% women on this planet will not be able to hold that space for themselves without having worry about anything. And most of us, until we met our twin flame, were living in this sort of a world without even realizing that what has been suppressed, what we are actually taking for granted. We were not knowing about all these things. However, when our twin flame arrived, when our twin flame activated us, and when our sacral chakra started getting activated, which was a great beginning for us to awaken our inner divine feminine, including her sexual side, we started getting confused. We started getting into pain. We started suffering. We started questioning. We started hiding. We started regretting. We started cornering ourselves, right? So there were too many things that started happening after we encountered our twin flame. And all those things that were buried for so many years into our sacral chakra started uprooting itself. So now pay attention keenly to this fourth part that I'm coming to. This is something that you truly need to understand because this perspective will help you to shift to a better vibration, to a better place in this journey. First, the desire that you're holding towards your twin flame when it comes to sexual intimacy. It is not the indication that there is something wrong with you. It is the indication that something is waking up inside you, and that something is your sacral chakra center that is being opened and activated by your twin flame. And there is nothing wrong with it. Second, your energy body had stored so many behavioral patterns, toxic or negative experiences from this life or your past life, a very suppressive sort of societal conditioning that your energy body was holding so far, which you had never allowed it to process. And these things were frozen for a long time. Now you're feeling them because something broke open inside your energy body. Third thing is suppressing these things was not your spiritual choice, but it was your conditional choice. When it comes to the question of loyalty, it is more complex than just a matter of yes or no. Your twin flame is your high vibrational divine counterpart and the polarity higher aspect of your soul. So the sexual polarity and the sexual pull will always be existing in this connection. So it is a bit more complex than it seems to be because you have a 3D connection with your soulmate and you have the high vibrational connection with your divine counterpart. So both these connections can have sexual feelings and it is completely okay. You need to understand the complexity that involves in this whole dynamic and start processing it in a positive way. Now, all this discussion that I am right now taking you through, all this and something even more than this is going to happen in the upcoming Sacred Circle session this coming Saturday, that is 23rd May. We are going to discuss about where the shame actually is coming from, the cultural, religious, generational conditioning, what is the memory of your body, why certain things feel stored in you, and what it has to do with your twin flame journey, the loyalty question, how to listen to your own body and your own desire without meaning you are betraying everything that you value. If time permits, we would also understand the masculine sexuality, why he does what he does, and what it means. And the question most women have never been allowed to ask themselves: what does my body actually want? And am I allowed to want it? This is going to be a closed private session, and the discussions that happen in this session are going to stay inside the circle. If this is the place and the conversation that you have been waiting for, the trial session for the Sacred Circles group sessions is free. So you can join the trial session. For those who have already been attending the session but have not been a part of the regular session so far, you can sign up for this session and be a part of this amazing discussion that is going to unfold this Saturday. The trial session link and the sign up link, all these links for this upcoming session have been given into the video description. I hope this video added a lot of value to you. See you in the next video. Namaste.